Hi, good afternoon. My name is Melvin, the Executive Director of Community Male Empowerment Project.
Hi, I'm Christopher Anthony. I'm part of Community Male Empowerment Project.
Okay, today's topic that we're going to discuss today is job opportunities through rehabbing vacant and abandoned buildings. Thank God that the message that we've been taking on to the city of Chicago, our voices, seems as our voices are getting heard now, because in light of all the shooting and all this killing in our community, we've been taking this fight down to City Hall. Now we're taking it down to the county, and we will support that with some documents that you can see later on in a couple of minutes in the show. So by that being said, we want to share with you just real briefly. This is something that we've been fighting for here, and as you can see, we Googled it, and it's on the city's website. It's Ron Emanuel pilot program developing vacant homes in areas in need of investment and jobs. Did you hear the key word, jobs? Excuse me. In our community, we feel that jobs is a way to keep these young men and women engaged and gainful employment and keeping their mind occupied in a positive way. So I'm glad that the city and everyone that we've been talking to finally seeing, after so long or so many killings, now something need to be done. And I'm not mad that it takes so long. I'm really sad that so many lives had to be lost for the city and our elected officials to really see that something need to be done.
Yeah, it needed to be done, and it needed to be, expressed. I'm glad that we were able to at least share and voice the opinion. Yes. We got a lot of feedback from our viewers last week. You guys were really good about leaving your comments. We're going to continue to focus and push, and we're going to try to focus on revitalizing neighborhoods. I mean, this is what this whole push is about. It's about creating jobs. It's about stabilizing neighborhoods, taking these vacant and abandoned buildings that are, as they call them, zombie properties, where they create nuisances, they create, just eyesores in communities that are so strong and so well niched. So, I want to toss it back to you, Melvin, because this really ties down to the, development of where certain communities need to be at.
Right, and he's right, and the Austin community, and we all, and our goal, our passion, is awareness. And letting the young generation know that someone is speaking out for them, someone care about them, someone love them, to let them know that we care enough to go down to the city to let them know that something needs to be done, something has to change. So we like to thank the mayor for and Corporation Council, and also the Department of Planning and Development in particular, to say, hey, something needs to be done. And shortly, I'm going to show you a clipping of Commissioner Richard Boykin. Now, Richard Boykin is taking the mantle, saying the same thing. Now, he's echoing the same sentiment, saying that he will give free housing to first responders, firefighters, paramedics, police officers, teachers. And he put in an ordinance, and he talked about it today, did a news conference, but he's going to expound on it, he's going to elaborate on it come this Monday, and he's going to take it in front of the county board to get it pushed through, to say that if you rehab a home or build a new home in a community, you have to use someone from that neighborhood, 16 to 25, and also that the developer will have incentives.
That's a good point, Melvin. Let me ask you a question. So where have you seen majority of the challenges that come up when it comes to council or the housing department, where they lack the efficiencies on this end?
Well, the challenge is that what we've been seeing is that too many times our elected officials been going, and I like to just, be honest, they've been looking at the big developers instead of the smaller community groups that can actually got boots on the ground that can talk to these young kids and these young men and women. Because these big developers and these big contractors come in the community, they go, and we see it now, they go, it's not to hire anyone in the neighborhood. So that's why our community still look like it, devastated, and still look just decimated with all these vacant and abandoned buildings. That is part of the problem. So I'm glad now that we cannot go along with the same process that's been in play for the last 20 years. All the big developers get all the properties, get all the money, and they leave our community. They leave our community like it is, and we tell the aldermen, why we got to keep coming down here protesting, why we got to keep coming down here yelling. But again, I just want to let you know this is a job initiative. But then Chris is coming on to talk about some of the things that he's going to be doing in the upcoming weeks, and some of the guests he's going to have, and some of the guests I'm going to have. So I'd like to turn over to him so so you guys can kind of hear how Community Mail is pushing the information out there to the community.
Okay, so getting a little bit into depth, what our focus primarily has been is we acquire bank-owned or distressed properties from banks, other entities, other non-for-profits that may not be able to do anything with them. We actually help them put them back on the tax record. And so what we figured is it's a 5-step process. It's really simple because we want to be transparent in the community. The first step is that we acquire the property from either the bank or from different entities. We try to assess it, figure out what would be a good fit, and then we bring in our partners now to come in and do the rehab. Okay, now part of the rehab requires that there's a certain community hiring that's involved, certain employers that are working within the community, they have certain requirements, and I think it's safe to say that the requirements are really there to keep the community flowing in the right way. After that, we sell it to a community resident at a discounted price. We're talking about creating cash flow back for that person in the community. I mean, to sell a property at 30 or whatever % of a discount, it really goes a long way when they're trying to, make ends meet. And then we try to further educate them in the process. This is a very, very key component. Education is key, whether we're educating the community resident or we're doing education training for our job participants. We go through a 12, sometimes an 18-week process that defines and gives the employer or the community resident the skills that they need, so the way that they don't, if they're a community resident, go back into foreclosure because they defaulted on their mortgage, or if they are someone that is looking to get consistent employment, we try to work with them and have them develop skills where now they can be job ready and be able to be mobile and adapt. And then finally after that, we focus on facilitating all of the partners together in a showcase, because we want to let the community know what went on. I mean, there's so many things that you can say about what happened in this time of day or what happened in that, but to put a house back in the community that was truly vacant and abandoned or an eyesore means a lot. And now to show that you were meaningful in creating jobs and actually helping a local business, it really goes a long way.
That's true. That's true. And see, that's why we're linking the two together, and we've been saying this for a long time.
Some of us walk in place, and some of us walk to take us places.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was my computer. I was going to show you guys Mr. Richard Boykins, what he shared today at City Council. Just letting you know this is live. We're not coming to you, pre-recorded. No, this is live because we feel that you need to hear it first at hand, coming to you straight from the cuff, showing that this is a live taping and a live show. So back to what Chris was saying. That's why we merged the two together, and we've been saying this for years. We've been up in D.C. saying the same thing. Going to the banking committee, saying that, hey, you guys got these vacant and abandoned buildings, turn them over to developers, people who can rehab these property, particular folks that's in the community that's going to hire from the community. That's all we're saying, but we're going to hold them accountable. Even we're going to hold the contractors accountable as well. You're not going to come on this site and figure with this 1-2 flat you're going to get rich, because that's not the goal. You're not going to get rich off 1-2 flat. The name of the game and the goal is to make sure that you can hire, you get the contract and hire and train young men, and that's our goal. You know, we don't want everybody to be laborers. You know, once you come on now, you're a good laborer. Then once the labor part of the job is over, then you're done. No, we want our contractors, our skilled contractors, to train these young men so they can be prepared in the workforce. And then maybe one day they will be a subcontractor that they can have their own business. The goal is to micromanage them so they can have their own business, to make sure they're doing things right, and showing them how to actually bid on the job, to make sure that they bidding with the material, and also the pricing, where they can show that they are making some money and they can feel good about themselves and take care of their family.
So if you want to call in, we definitely welcome our listener and our viewer audience to call in at 312-738-1060. Please feel free to visit our website, www.cmepprojects.org. But as we continue to move on, there's so many different topics I think we can maybe jump into, but I always think it's important how, you know, relevant fairs or other things that come up. Are there any job fairs or anything that you're aware of coming up?
Yes, I'm glad you said that. So here is a overhead cam of a job fair that we have coming up. Well, yeah, we don't have coming up, but it's an overhead job fair coming up, and it's coming up. We got the 28th of this month, which is at Malcolm X at 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sorry, and this is held by the Park District, and as you can see, it's for team opportunity. So again, we just want to make the community aware of the opportunities out here in our neighborhood. We have to make them aware of what's going on in our community so they can be empowered. We're coming up to another summer, and it's going to be another hot summer. And as you can see now, they just did statistics right now already. There have been 200. Can you believe it? 200 people shot. And we just 23 days into this year. 200 people shot. Come on now. You know, and nearly 80 people killed. Come on now. You know there's a real problem in our community when 23 days into the new year, this is how it starts. So that's why we're going to come to you with other opportunities. We're going to put pressure on the city, because we found out there's some other contractors, some other contracts out there that we feel would be viable for us, that we can hire city contracts that they have with no skill, cleanup contracts, janitorial contracts, and they significant contracts that will change a person's lives over the next 5 or 6 years, how long the contract lasts. But I say that to say, we're going to need all them programs to be effective in our community. All the programs.
Well, that, and then I think we got to show awareness of, you know, where individuals can see, you know, what is the strategy. I mean, how does the community know where the city's looking to buy or spend their dollars? I think that's important. You all should know that.
Right.
Is there a way where now regular community residents can go and see? I mean, can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Let me share this with you real quick. And this is the. Now here's a booklet. Let me show you the top of the book. Here we go. It's the City of Chicago's buying plan. As you can see, this is 2016 to 2018 edition. And when you look at this book, you just, if we don't know what to look for, we wouldn't know. Because all the sisters agents, we have the City of Chicago, we have Cook County, we have the state of Illinois. Everybody has a contract in this book. And I mean, everybody has a contract in this book. And we're going to specifically talk about this later on in upcoming weeks in the show. But I want to show you particularly, real briefly, what type of contracts they have out there for men and women. Let me just break this down for you so you guys can see. I hope you guys can see this, because I'm going to point to it right here. And if my overhead cam will get closer, yeah, it will. Let me zoom in, and then I hope it focus for you guys. There we go. Look at that. Look at that there. We talking about a comprehensive janitorial contract. Look at the price, $20 million. Look at the number of years, 60 months. You guys are smart out there. Do the math on 60 months. on how long that contract is. Then we have an unarmed security service, $10 million, 60 months. I said unarmed security. So again, these are some of the contracts that just stuck out to me right away that, we don't have to go through a whole lot of changes. But again, please, if you guys have the opportunity, go get the book. Please go get the book. And once you get the book, you can see. And then again, I want us to have a voice. When we go down to the city and talk to our elected officials, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, we have to start spreading the word. This
Yes.
is where it begins. This is the platform, and so
Right.
we promised you that we would deliver something of relevant information each week. Catch in to where you catch on, and from there you will be empowered. And
Right.
it's really easy to say. We preach what we see and practice what's going on, and we try to share this information to you when we come across it. Moving along in the segment here for the show, I always like to recognize our sponsors. Our current sponsor for the week. Do you want to give them a shout out real fast?
Please do so.
Okay, all right. So our current shout out for this week is U.S. Bank. We want to say thank you for making a special difference, and that will. If you have any questions about either small business or you're thinking about starting a business, well, next week you should definitely tune in. We're going to have Carl Riley, who is a small business banking officer, come in and really explain the challenges that individuals face while operating and managing their business, how to acquire different funding for it. What are some of the struggles? What are some of the benefits? So if you could tune in next week on the 30th, I believe that is, we'll have them aboard. But Melvin, I think you had another powerful segment.
Yes. Well, I know. Well, what my job is when Chris have his guests on, my job is to get the commissioner of housing on board with us, to bring them on to the show. Commissioner Boykin. Hopefully, we get Commissioner Simpkins from the city of Chicago. Verbally, I got these guys' commitment, but I'm gonna get more. I'm gonna get it on the calendar because I want the viewers to hear them talk about the program.
Yes.
And then we're gonna have another gentleman on board. Let me get his agreeing that he will come on the show as well. So we're gonna bring you guys some exciting, influential people that's making decisions in the city of Chicago. And we want them to sit right next to us. And I was just telling Chris out in before we came on, I'm going to Ron Emanuel's office tomorrow. I want him to sit next to us. So we want to talk about how he's going to make changes in the city of Chicago.
Ooh, it'd be nice to have the mayor on.
Yeah, it sure will. So, because we have a lot, this show is not long enough, but at least if we can get him on the show for at least 20 or 30 minutes to talk about what his plan is to engage everybody, and then we most definitely will talk to him about this book because the city of Chicago has some great contracts in that, and at this time we're gonna have to think outside the box. We cannot keep everything in a box, whereas that they create the process for the process. You're like, man, how much paperwork you want me to fill out? So we're gonna have to limit all that paperwork down so we can move forward and create some opportunities for these young men. Because again, we're coming up to another hot summer, and we don't want to have no 200 shootings. Now you talking about 200 shootings in the first 23 days? Come on now, come on.
Yeah, that's downright unacceptable.
Correct.
But,
Correct.
At some point, it is what it is. We will continue to find a way. We'll continue to unite. That's the beautiful thing about this is that we as a community and we as a country, we need to heal. We need to figure out how can we have common ground on a lot of issues. I feel that we should really focus primarily on just being more compassionate, being more understanding that there is a way to have a dialogue without going to an extreme, without making someone feel uncomfortable. Just so we can get ahead in things, because at some point we're not getting ahead the way we need to. We're not making strides or reaches the way we can. And I always say this, is that if initiative is the ability to do the right thing, then efficiency is the ability to do the thing right. Okay,
Oh,
and I
wow.
say that to say is that
Hold on. Say that one more time. Say that one more time. You know, you said that too fast. Say that again.
it's if initiative is the ability to do the right thing, then efficiency is the ability to do the thing right.
That's all
Okay,
right. Now, did y'all catch that, man?
Please let that marinate in there for a minute.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I always, figure going forward, there's a purpose, there's a goal. If we can just reach out and help someone acquire a home that they never thought was possible, if we
That's
can help
right.
someone, continue to stay out of the unemployment line that they didn't think was possible, if we could, create a food drive or help different schools out, that's what we're going to do.
Right, exactly. And I'm glad Chris mentioned that because just like our President Barack Obama saying, man, we have to get engaged. Even Congressman John Lewis saying, if you see something and it's not right, speak out. Get involved, get engaged. And just like the women that marched on Washington and the women that marched in Chicago, I tip my hat to you guys for really getting so many people together on a short notice. Well, it wasn't a short notice, it was a couple of months that you guys sent out all them emails and Twitter feeds and Google feeds and got a lot of folks engaged, involved, and that's what it takes, and that's what it's all about if we want to change our community, if we want to start changing lives. But our goal and focus primarily is focusing on our inner city. We're going to focus on the inner city, especially with these young men and women in our community that feel that they have no hope, no one speaking to them, and they feel it's acceptable to carry a gun and just open fire on anybody. So that's our goal and focus, is to target that target of folks who feel that's acceptable to do these things, and we're going to let them know we love them, put the gun down, come on over here and start working. Hopefully we work you so much you go home and be tired, and then get up and go back to work. And that's all we want you to do. We don't want you to have no negative thoughts in your mind, but to take care of your family and start working.
And that's where we're at.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where we're at.
And that's where we're at. So I tried to bring up Richard Borkin. You guys heard it. You guys heard that, I'm okay on the computer, but I'm not that good. I'm just letting you know. I'm okay, but I'm not that good.
No, you got me, man. You got CA.
Yeah,
Come
you
on,
should have been sitting here. You should have been sitting here.
But that's okay, because remember, we want to be real. We want to be authentic. We want to let you know that this isn't just, hey, Hollywood scripted.
Right,
we
exactly.
come together. We got great ideas. We have community input. We're going to start actually taking questions. Actually, we've been getting them sent in recently. But the next segment, please feel free to email us prior to if you have any questions about any past topics that we've talked about on the show, either today or our last show. But we want to get to know more about you. Please, community, send your information in to cmepprojects.org. Go to the website. You can check us out.
Right, and okay, let me see, can I get this on real quick for you guys before we get out of here? Yeah, there we go. So you guys can Google it yourself. You see revitalization plan, offer free homes to city workers and danger community where they work. So, as you can see, the Commissioner, Richard Borkin, he's taking a proactive stand. He's taking a proactive stand on providing free homes to people. So we're gonna most definitely take advantage of that opportunity. Now they telling me to wrap up, boy, I tell you. But I love him for giving us this opportunity and this platform. So this is a platform we're gonna use, and we're gonna keep using it for the next 11 weeks. So we have some real exciting guests coming up Monday, and then we're gonna just try to keep this information going for you guys. Keep it going, and then some of the housing seminars we're gonna have that for you. We're gonna have that for you on video, and some of the houses we rehab, we're gonna have that for you as well. So we're gonna make sure that you guys can see, we're talking about it, and we're doing it instead of just talking.
So yeah, hopefully you can join us next week. My guest speaker will be Carl Riley, business banking officer. We'll be able to share with you all that there is to know about businesses inside and out. This is Chris Anthony,
Melvin Bailey,
here at CAN-TV for CMEP, which is Community Male Empowerment Project. We hope to see you guys next week.
Yeah, I think we might have a couple of more seconds before we wrap up. But again, we want to get like-minded folks, and we want to have some guests that we can start doing some great things. So right now we have approximately another 10 seconds to go, and as you can see, I need all my 10 seconds. So 5 seconds. So please put the guns down, and so be safe.
Take care.